Oh, okay. We're going live. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Think that should be good. Recording and then.
Yeah, I just got the email that we're live.
Okay. All right. I don't want to fuck around tonight. Kind of just get straight into business.
Works for me.
Oh, all right. Oh, wait, one last thing. There we go. Okay. All right. Now I'm good. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Ship, the podcast where we analyze, rate, and review all that the world of video game romances has to offer. I'm Genesis, the girl who is sorry for any odd audio tonight. I'm not at home, and that always causes issues.
And I'm Bravada. If anyone has a problem with her audio, they can come talk to me.
I love you. Thank you.
I love you too.
So, if you're new here, welcome to the beautiful chaos. But you should know that our podcast centers on character and romance analysis and doesn't shy away from exploring the fun of fucking.
Or from the deep emotional connections built between two or more characters using specific in-game dialogue. So if you want to stay spoiler-free, then this is definitely not the podcast for you.
So here's your fucking spoiler alert.
Thanks for the spoiler alert, N7. And seriously, stay away from this episode if you are still in Act 1 of the game. We could stay generally major plot point free with Halcyon last week, but there was no way with how key this character is to the storyline. With that being said, just like with all of our previous episodes, we'll assume that you have some background knowledge of the game and character in question, but we will be providing context for those of you who may be unfamiliar.
Today, we are still in Faerun, and we'll be here for a while, thankfully. Imagine, if you will, having no memories of who you are. You only have a very vague sense of self, nothing at all beyond a certain age. And the only clear memories are those regarding a very important mission you were sent on very recently. Nothing is certain, but you have your faith, at least, right? The fear of the unknown and what little you do know walks beside you like an old friend, hand in hand. Every once in a while, though, the hand that it holds is pierced with agony from a wound that won't heal. But you've been grouped up with some ragtag survivors of an illithid nautiloid shipwreck, all with tadpoles in their brains, and for the first time in your whole life, as far as you know, you've got friends. You're Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3.
Pain is sacred to followers of Lady Shah. Pain will give way to loss and then to the peace of her eternal darkness. You can tolerate a great deal of suffering so long as it has meaning.
Genevieve Hollowleaf was born in the forests outside of Baldur's Gate, probably about 50 or so years ago. Based on the visible age of her mother later on in the game, and a small bit of lore, quote, 40 years of my life documented. But honestly, who knows? She's probably older than 50. Her father, Arnell, is a high elf, and her mother is a human, making Genevieve a half elf. She was raised as a devout follower of the Moon Maiden Saloon, living in quiet seclusion and tranquility. When she was a young girl, visibly around the age 10, so possibly even 20 by half-elf standards, she took part in an ancient Saloonite initiation rite, where she was just abandoned in the wilds. The idea was for the child to rely on her skills and faith to fend for herself, and upon a successful return, would be proven a devout believer. But little Jen never made it back.
Can I take a 5-second pause to ask, is it saloon or saloona? Because sometimes British people say things differently. And I swear Dame Aelin said saloona in the game, but like they also say things way differently than I would as an American. So I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. My brain said saloon.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Moon Maiden. I heard you say saloon and then I started freaking out because I have to say her name in my next paragraph and I don't want to say her name wrong because I'm really good at doing that. Anyway, okay. Faerun. In Faerun, deities are real and they have like a law that they can't directly influence mortals' lives. They certainly meddle in the lives of mortals and near immortals alike. And the Moon Maiden had a sister, a bitchy sister that likes to dick around with the lives a lot more than the Moon Maiden does. Her name is Shar, also called the Lady of Loss, the goddess of darkness and pain and gross stuff, and the night. And she had other plans for little Genevieve. Viconia de Vere, a drow and devout Sharan, kidnapped Genevieve and her parents, spiriting them away to a secret cloister in Baldur's Gate. If you don't remember who Viconia is, she's actually a companion and a romance option in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and she is a cleric of Shar, just like Shadowheart. Shadowheart is the name she gives young Genevieve, or maybe Shadowheart picked it. I'm not really sure. But anyway, her name is changed to Shadowheart, and all memories of her family and her Selenite ways are slowly covered in Shar's blessed darkness. The Lady of Loss indeed.
Viconia's mission to raise Shadowheart as a champion of the Dark Lady was given to her by Shar herself, so the pressure was on. Shadowheart spent decades in the secret Sharan cloister inside Baldur's Gate. A fear of wolves was the only memory she retained from that night in the woods when she was kidnapped. Except there weren't any wolves that night, but Sharans. She was repeatedly forced to use the cloister's mirror of loss until all that was Genevieve was replaced with Shadowheart. She was able to retain some of her innate personality thanks to a fellow acolyte named Reynald, reminding her of her personality and her own cognizance to write herself notes. This is how she remembers her fondness of flowers and animals in the present. Otherwise, she would have just been a mindless husk of only blind devotion to Shar.
Eventually, whispers of the rise of a mysterious cult reached Vaconia, and this so-called cult of the absolute made her start to worry, not out of any love for the free will of the people, mind you, but rather the threat it represented to Sharan influence in Baldur's Gate. So they captured a Githyanki scout, who then revealed, after merciless torture, of course, the existence of a fancy and powerful Gith artifact that the cult were desperate to find. The Sharans obviously wanted it for themselves, and Shadowheart was one of the Sharans tasked by Vaconia to retrieve it at all costs. They did find it, but Shadowheart was the only survivor. It's also par for the course for Sharans to be mind-wiped of any memory beyond their current mission, at least according to Shadowheart, so all she knew was she needed to get this weird little artifact back to Baldur's Gate. Before that could happen, she was captured by the Illithids, brought aboard the Nautiloid, and infected with a Mind Flayer tadpole. Same girl, same.
And that is where we meet her, right in the prologue of the game, stuck in a pod awaiting ceramorpho. I knew I was going to struggle with this word. Ceramorphosis.
It's a hard word.
Awaiting the change. You can and should free her if you're hoping to romance her. But even if you miss her or don't free her, she'll still escape unscathed and lies unconscious on the beach until you wake her up and ask her to join your party. Unless, of course, you don't do that before your first long rest. In which case she will be sitting on a rock by the strange ox in the Emerald Grove. No matter what, Shadowheart has plot armor, and she is recruitable. At least until you get the artifact from her. But she's going to live for us because we are romancing her. Duh. Early on in our situationship with Shadowheart, she will admit to her Sharan ways and the reason behind her clutching her hand in pain every once in a while. She doesn't have any real clue why Shar would hurt her hand randomly, but she thinks that all pain leads to loss, which is how you get closer to Shar, remember? Loviatar and Shar would get along great.
Yeah, and that's evidenced by if you get whipped by that priest and she likes it, if she's there. Hilarious. She's the kinkiest one. Also, fun fact. But anyway, to get along with Shadowheart, you should make pragmatic and efficient decisions, but not too cruel. Like, she doesn't like unnecessary violence or cruelty. Don't be mean to animals. And she does like an act of heroism occasionally. But she really enjoys doing twat behavior to followers of Selûne. She values privacy, so even though you have the dialogue options to interrogate her about her hand, her artifact, and her memories, don't. Let her come to you when she's ready. Be open-minded. Her faith in Shar is weird, and I don't get it. And I don't think people should have to just accept it for a friendship with her, but that's what you need to do. I wish we had some element of like a rival-friend relationship like we did in Dragon Age 2, because Shadowheart should have the opportunity to be challenged in her beliefs, I think, by the player, like earlier on. Her beliefs are shaky at best, though. We'll find that out. So it doesn't take much to rattle them.
Yeah, like Shar isn't just the goddess of the night, but she's also the goddess of loss. She is defined by the foolishness of hope and life's inherent emptiness, of concealed hatred and nursed grudges. The tools she uses are temptation, manipulation, and subterfuge. The ends always justify the means to Shar, and that extends to her devout followers. They are simply pawns in her overarching scheme against all that is and all that ever would be. Shar's ultimate goal is destroying all order and returning to the perfect chaotic void, the nothing that was the ancient calm of non-existence. Sounds kind of fun. Although Shar is believed to be a healer, soothing those stricken with grief by letting them forget, she isn't. She's a sadist who enjoys inflicting pain on her followers. Her help is not release from pain, but numbness to it. The pain is there. You're just expected to accept it and remove any expectation of healing anything. Nurture your pain and harness it. She tells her followers to be cynical and not look for good in the world or in themselves. Only blessed darkness. Healing through pain is Loviatar's thing. And a few other people I can think of.
Sounds like Char's not good at anything she says she is. I'm not a Char follower, obviously. You know who else was forced to grow up in a cult? Lae'zel. Guess who Shadowheart's foil is? Yeah, that tension gave it away, no? Let's play a little bit of their confrontation scene when you awaken in the night to Shadowheart pressing a knife to Lae'zel's throat.
You had every chance to look the other way, but here we are. You chose this.
Spare me the justifications, coward!
If anyone asks, I'll say you were transforming. Don't expect to be mourned.
I'm definitely on Lae'zel's side in this. Yeah. So obviously this is absolute shit, but also to be expected from the both of them. So let's compare the two, shall we? While Shadowheart's cult is one of radical faith, Lae'zel's is one of militant domination, but both are equally indoctrinated. Both characters' character arcs are ones of self-discovery and individualism. While Shadowheart literally can't remember who she was before Shar, Lae'zel's society has valued individualism, but her beliefs are based on lies. They both have the opportunity to learn of their lies their cults have taught them, or not. Perhaps they further entrench themselves in their beliefs instead. That would be the bad, quote-unquote bad, narrative ending for the both of them. Not to mention stupid of you, if you hope to romance Shadowheart. Do you think Shar has any allowances for love in her followers? She doesn't even want their love for herself, only their devotion and pain.
Don't laugh, but I'm not quite sure I have anything to share. When you worship Shar, secrecy is everything. We'll sacrifice our own memories when ordered to. A lot of the little things, they're lost to me right now.
So, isn't it interesting that she doesn't say Lady Shar here? This shouldn't trigger after the Night Song mission, so she should still be a loyal follower of Shar. I wonder if it's pre-Shar Shadowheart or Genevieve peeking out. She does still say we in regards to the followers of Shar, though. But ultimately, Shadowheart's faith is built on lies and is rather easy to shake once she knows the truth. Shadowheart is innately good, which is at great odds with Shar and Sharans overall. The religion is mostly banned in Faerun for a reason, after all. One of her barks, or things she randomly yells out when you switch to her character, is, "I must not fail." She also says this if you pick her as your origin player character. The way she says this line is very key. It's not, "I must not fail." It's more of, "I must not fail." She doesn't sound determined. She sounds resigned and a bit afraid. Once again, she is not loyal to Shar. She is simply afraid of her. And with her regular painful reminders in her hand, who wouldn't be?
Yeah, seriously. She's a bitch. So Act 2 is very lore heavy when it comes to Shar and Selûne, which obviously affects Shadowheart, because, she's like all in the middle of that. Her personal quest doesn't happen until Act 3 when we get to Baldur's Gate, but it certainly feels personal doing the Gauntlet of Shar if you bring her along. It's been her dream to be a Dark Justiciar for as long as she can remember, which honestly, how long is that actually? We talked about fixing the Shadow Curse in Halsin's episode, but on the other side of that dark coin is the reason behind the Shadow Curse. Ketheric Thorm, aka J.K. Simmons, and the reason for his immortality. No matter how you get to and inside Moonrise Towers, you'll eventually make your way to the crypt, speak with Raphael, and then enter the Gauntlet of Shar.
The Shadow Curse. It doesn't seem to affect me like it does others. Not as badly, at least. Do you know what this means? I must be blessed. Lady Shar is protecting me where others are left to face her wrath. She loves me. She must do.
While it is true that Shadowheart has immunity to the first layer of the Shadow Curse, she will still need a moon lantern just like everyone else for the deeper layers of the curse. To interpret this as love from her goddess is pretty delusional. But what choice does she have? This is essentially an abusive relationship. And instead of normal signs of love, Shadowheart has to make up some sign of love out of a slightly less painful experience compared to everyone else. Her hand will still hurt her now and then, though. Shar's idea of fun is stealing Selûnite followers and is more present and active in the lives of her followers because her hold on them is more tenuous. Her devotion is fed by fear and external proof of her abilities, whereas her sister Selûne is more of a guide in the lives of her followers. They are guided by an internal sense of goodness, not rewarded or punished for every misstep, extremely or immediately.
So the big choice Shadowheart has to make is this. Does she become a Dark Justiciar or not? Obviously, she's all for it as you progress through the various tests and challenges of the Gauntlet. As far as she knows, she's been a faithful Sharan her entire life and has wanted this for almost as long. Shadowheart has a healthy dose of something called cognitive dissonance. That is, holding two conflicting ideals at once. Cleric of the Goddess of Night, also the party member who can do the most radiant damage. Wants to be a Dark Justiciar, yet, for instance, if you sided with the goblins in Act 1, she'll try to drink herself unconscious with the horror of your actions. If you sided with the tieflings, she'll admit that it actually feels good to be the hero, but no true Sharan would ever try to be one. Shadowheart is innately good, like we said, but she needs to overcome her brainwashing first. That's where player choice comes in. Do you let her wield the spear and kill the Night Song? Or do you encourage her to chuck it into the abyss and spare the Night Song?
You, who have come to seek the praise of your wicked goddess. You, who have come to drive a dagger through my heart.
Not a dagger, a spear. My Lady Shar's spear. Her fate is mine to seal. Let me handle this.
The fate you seal is your own. To be a Dark Justiciar is to turn your heart from everything but loss. You will know no love, no joy, only servitude, until of course your mistress inevitably discards you. And there is much she does not tell you. A terrible blood price that may extend beyond my own death.
You feel Shadowheart bristling. This is important to her. But your bond is strong. You may yet be able to sway her from the path of duty to the path of light.
Here is where Shadowheart's path truly diverges, and where I will remind you, huge fucking spoiler alert. If you encourage her to stay faithful to Shar, she will kill the Night Song, which is revealed to be none other than the Moon Maiden's daughter, Dame Aelin. She will become a Dark Justiciar, and her hair will remain black, encouraging her to choose her own path, to follow the nagging doubt and suspicion killing Aelin is the wrong thing to do. This will allow Shadowheart to grow the most as a character. She will renounce Shar instead, eventually become a cleric of Selûne, but retain her trickery domain spells. She will dye her hair white, a white blonde, and will be facing a tough battle at the House of Grief in Baldur's Gate. She finally has something to believe in beyond a shaky faith rooted in fear to bolster her resolve and grant her powers. But don't expect this to be unpunished by Shar.
Shar, Queen of Spite. I forgive you. Not. That'll never happen. Some players don't even have to say anything, and Shadowheart will choose to defy Shar and not kill Dame Aelin on her own. I'm not sure if that happens regardless of approval level, or if it requires a certain threshold, but I will argue with anyone that the only positive to choosing to stay faithful to Shar is the sex scene you get in Act 3 that Jen's probably going to talk about. It's not for me, but it's definitely spicier than the Selûnite romance scene. Like I said, Jen's going to discuss those differences when we get there. But narratively speaking, ethically speaking, killing Dame Aelin is a crime. And game-wise, killing her makes you fight against Ketheric, or killing her makes your fight against Ketheric Thorm way harder to win. So, plus Shar is a bitch, and I will kill her before I let Aelin and Isabel die and not get to be reunited. Facts. So we are going to play the clip that happens right after Shadowheart chooses to defy Shar and save the Night Song, aka Dame Aelin. Because narratively, once again, this is a much better ending for Shadowheart and allows for growth, which is the whole point.
I can't believe I did that. And Shar will disown me. Now I'm truly lost.
You were already lost, little warrior. A lost child, frightened by wolves.
What did you say?
Much has been promised to you, hasn't it? But what has been taken from you? What do you know of your own heart? Your own life? Lay a hand on me in friendship, not quite Sharon. And I will fight the battle that has been waiting for me this last century. Then, oh then, we will have much to discuss.
Like Lae'zel, Shadowheart has to learn who she is on her own. Other than her devotion to Shar, what is there? A love of night orchids, a fear of wolves, a sense of rightness and justice most Sharns don't possess. And in our playthrough here, a love between her and the player character. This is a love that Shar, Lady of Loss and Mistress of Pain, will not abide a Dark Justiciar to keep. A Dark Justiciar only has room in their lives for Shar. They live in service of Shar. And you can convince Shadowheart to stay with you, but many players will see her break up with you and only be available for a good lay come the epilogue. Even if she does stay with you, it is in direct opposition to her goddess, and there isn't any guarantee of a future with her. The piece of her heart allotted to you is a small portion of the whole, and a stolen portion at that. If that sounds like your cup of tea, sure, go for it. But this is undoubtedly the bad ending, the path of restriction.
Either way, you can romance Shadowheart, though. So, if you don't really care about character growth or pretending these are real people, then do whatever you want, I guess. Why are you listening to us? If that's how you play. It's hard to get past her walls, though. Shadowheart does not trust easily, is super private, and is an enigma for much of the first half of the game. Like, honestly, up until Act 3, she was just kind of insufferable in a lot of ways. We see some grade A sarcasm and cruel wit with her responses to companions and NPCs alike. You're not spared her wrath either if you say the wrong thing to her. But should you raise her approval enough and allow her the space to trust you on her own terms and in her own time, you will be rewarded with a wine-drinking cleric who probably misses all her attacks, but at least she has some great area of effect spells.
Oh, poor Shadowheart.
You've done more to help me than my faith has in recent times, if I'm honest. Thank you. There's been something between us for some time. A connection. More than friends. I recognized it, but didn't act on it. I thought my faith was the most important thing in my life. I couldn't have been more wrong. I've squandered too much time already. I want to be with you. Now and always. Do you want the same?
Aww. Now, while Lae'zel and Shadowheart are foils and their narrative arcs involving character growth are similar, they can both choose freedom from restriction or to stay entrenched in their false beliefs. Shadowheart's has a religious edge to it that Lae'zel's does not. And there are many ex-evangelicals out there who can really identify with Shadowheart's dilemma, with the erasure of her true self and the difficult choice to turn your back on all you know to follow a feeling that you are meant for something different. She has spent probably around 40 years being indoctrinated, brainwashed, and abused by a literal evil cult, given what's essentially a shock collar of a wound on her hand for Shar to activate whenever it most pleases her. And she's had her memory wiped so often that the only thing that remains is a shaky, reflective devotion to Shar. That's all she had, even though she actually does not feel it truly in her heart of hearts. But it's the only thing that she can remember. That's why narratively and ethically, the good ending for Shadowheart can only be achieved by having her renounce Shar.
Unfortunately, Shar has one last weapon to use against Shadowheart. See, Shadowheart has operated under the assumption that she was an orphan, a street urchin plucked from the gutter and raised with good Sharan sensibilities. But that isn't true. The night she remembers as a wolf attacking her in the forest and being saved by the Sharans were actually Sharans attacking her father, and she realizes it with some prompting from Dame Aelin.
What? Who was that man?
You already know. Did you not see yourself in him? Do you not recognize your own blood?
My father. That was him.
That is him. He lives still, And your mother, too.
No. It can't be. I'm an orphan.
And who told you that? Your adoptive family? You are not to blame. You were young, impressionable. They took you because they wanted to break and remake you. But you are a child no longer. You are a woman. One who knows what must be done.
My parents. I need to save them.
Oh, I love that. You are a woman that knows what must be done. Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready, Aelin. Okay. I don't need to save my parents, so they're in California. They're fine. Anyway, so that's Shadowheart's personal quest, saving her parents. You can do this whether or not Shadowheart has renounced Shar, but it seems a bit silly to stay loyal to the goddess bitch who strapped your parents to some rocks and tortured them for the past 40 to 50 years. If she's faithful to Shar, Shar will request her to please kill her parents after killing the Sharans there as a final test as a Dark Justiciar. I thought she became a fully fledged one in the Gauntlet, Shar. That's called moving the goalpost. Only bitches do that.
Facts.
Shar's parting words make your flesh crawl. There is no lesson to be learned here, only a family's torment, a spiteful goddess's whims, and an unspeakable choice to be made.
She's gone. I don't understand.
Shar will never admit defeat. Not until she has stolen one last thing from you. We cannot allow your future to be her last prize. Not after all your mother and I have endured. To see you again. Your companion understands, I think. Help her, please. Help her see what must be done.
Ooh, that's a good voice. Oh, fun fact about her dad, Arnell. He is voiced by John Hopkins, not of the hospital variety, who also voiced Elwyn in Final Fantasy XVI and Arend in both Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. Anyway, we let Shadowheart renounce Shar, so we're going to keep defying her. The choice is rescue her parents, but keep the hand wound, so Shar is still ever present in Shadowheart's life and causing random pain. Or let her parents die and become moon motes, always in her life, but not in the way she'd expect. But she'd be free of the curse. And it's what her parents say they want to happen. Shar is trying to manipulate the situation regardless of Shadowheart's choice in the matter. She'll either lose something, lose her parents, or she'll be in pain for the rest of her life. She's really living up to the bitch name of Goddess of Loss and Mistress of Pain titles. There are many arguments for and against killing Shadowheart's parents. I, for one, agree with the parents. They've lived 40 years of torture, got to see their child one more time, and they wanted their freedom as well. I go Moonmote.
I went Moonmote too. The mom is not. She didn't come out of that alive well. You know, like she's lost. So like at most, Shadowheart could have her dad, but still, like Shar's still there. Who knows what the curse could do in the future? Like, what if Shar just randomly decides to make it like a cancer and it spreads or something, and then yay, now her dad gets to watch Shadowheart die because he's a high elf, so he's gonna live forever, practically. Feels like. I don't know. I just think it's better to get Shar completely out of her life if that's what you've decided to do. Yeah. I've saw a lot of arguments for keeping the parents. So whatever you want to do, I guess.
There is the third option, but I mean, if you went down the path of keeping Shar, staying the Shar path, you can just outright kill Shadowheart's parents and Shar takes away the memory of it, so you don't know who these dead people are at your feet, but you feel a new sense of power.
Yeah, which is honestly the worst outcome in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for
how
sure.
twisted is that? Fuck you, Shar. Anyway, so I'm trying to stay on topic, I guess. I mean, not that this wasn't on topic, but go fast because we need to be fast. This is gonna be a long episode otherwise. Anyway, luckily for us, now that we've completed Shadowheart's personal quest, we can culminate the romance. Finally. Unfortunately for Shart romancers, you only get one sex scene, no matter what you choose. And that big final sex scene in this game definitely feels like an earned reward for all the romances, honestly, because they happen after personal quests. But I think it works in this game because the romances have typically been building up to this culmination scene over the course of the whole game, which is spread out over a long period of time, interspersed with banter and random kisses. It feels like a real romance. But before we can let Jen loose on the two very different scenes you get with Shadowheart, depending on if she's a cleric of Shar or Saluna, we need to take a mid break. Let's listen to some fun facts, sponsors of the show, and of course, thank our lovely, lovely patrons.
Mid-break dance. Woo! I think a shadow heart. I don't know. Samba. Really? That's where you went? Okay. I tried to think of a dance that started with an S, and samba came to mind. So that's what we're doing. Salsa, that works too. Yep, I don't know. All right. Shadowheart is voiced by Jennifer English, who also voiced Latenya in Elden Ring, Leia in Divinity Original Sin 2, and few other things. Also a short but impressive IMDb page.
Sorry, I know it's my turn now. And my leg was going numb under my cat. He's 17 pounds. Okay, so according to Larian, as of December 3rd, they tweeted out these metrics. Shadowheart is the most romanced female companion and the most popular romance companion overall, because out of the 100% of people who played this game, 51.3% of you romanced Shadowheart, and you're all basic.
Yeah, basic.
Yeah, basic. I mean, tell me honestly, truly, those of you who've romanced her, why did you? Is it because she's hot? She's just a little goth looking girl with a sexy outfit at camp. Because you're not going to sit here and tell me it was her personality at first, okay? There is no way. She's a prickly pear.
Yeah. All right. Gaming Magazine, Gaymining, said that Shadowheart's past with her forgotten identity as Genevieve mirrors dead names with trans folks. Like her claiming her new name and forging herself is something that trans players can truly identify with. Especially at the end, where she gets to pick which name she goes with, and she chooses the name that she wants. Now, there actually is a trans character in the game, Nocturne, who is her only friend in the Sharn Cloister in Baldur's Gate. Now, you can only learn about Nocturne if you give Shadowheart the noble stock in Act 1. So, don't give it to that stupid little Balin. He doesn't deserve it.
Okay, so I did that on accident. I didn't know. I don't even know if I realized you could give it to her. So I met Nocturne when I killed all the rest of the Sharans and did not know that she was trans, because you literally don't, like, Shadowheart doesn't remember her as being the same tiefling from her childhood otherwise, if you don't give her that noble stock. She does remember her as being her friend, but she doesn't remember her as, like, the child she was,
Okay.
because we actually used Nocturne's dead name earlier, only because that was like what you learned. So when you give her the noble stock, she's like, oh, I met this tiefling boy named Reynold or Reynold. Is that what it was? And then
Reynard, something like that.
yeah, Renard or something. Anyway, later when you go back to Baldur's Gate in Act 3, that's when she'll be like, oh my gosh, that was my friend, and then she'll tell you that, which I totally missed in my first playthrough.
I got that on my first playthrough. And then, yeah, my second one, I decided something different. And my third one, I decided something different. So, all very different routes. Okay, but moving forward, Spotify, you guys are amazing. We are at 177 ratings on there. Thank you so much. I absolutely love seeing that number tick up all the time. And of course, a huge shout out and major love to our patrons. So thank you so much to Toasty and Apollo, Becky and Daddy Bat Night, Miss Theos and Muffiny Cake, Mackenzie and Wynn. Yay!
Thank you. Hopefully to see you all at our patron chat next week, 2 weeks from now, whenever that is. I don't even know.
Oh shit. It's next week.
Next week. Yay.
Yay.
I get a break from writing scripts. Happy New Year to me.
Yay.
Okay, Jen, are you ready to go skinny dipping? Or is a little desecration of a tomb and sacrilege more your speed?
Depends on the mood.
My feet aren't touching the bottom anymore. It's terrifying. Do people really enjoy this? You didn't need to wait until I was in the water to hold me. Come here. Thank you. I needed that. I needed to know I can face things without Shah. I don't want to go back. Not just yet. Now don't you dare stop.
So V likes to call these scenes the romance culmination scene. And that's what I feel like this is. It's not their Halcyon sex scene in the middle of the forest. It's not even a few other bangability options that we have in this game. But it's really, really sweet. These are two lovers just splashing around in the lake. And it's a great moment to see Shadowheart happy. We did like it. It's just not a sex scene. It's all implied and referenced, and on the shores of the lake, you two embrace, and it's great kisses. But I don't see anything. So meh. But I did also have a few questions. In Act 1, when you're trying to lock in a romance with Shadowheart, you guys are on a ledge of a waterfall, and it's rocky. Okay. Then we're here on the beach, which is also rocky. And I mean, I like pain and all, but rocks are just straight up ouch and uncomfortable. Can we get my girl a bed? Or at least a pillow? I will also say, I know she likes pain, but there's pain with a purpose, and then there's just straight up like, okay, I can't focus on anything else except for this pain. There's a difference. I will also say that the fade to moonlight instead of a fade to black is a nice touch. Very, very fitting. But now, let's flip the switch.
Stop being so gentle.
I can follow orders. I can stop being gentle. In fact, this one has a little more action, but not by much. With the blood of Dame Aelin wrung from Shadowheart's hair, clothing, and spear tip, we bring it with us to a secluded little Selûnite statue left all alone. You smear the blood of the daughter on to the mother. It's now on your hands and on your lips. You kiss Shadowheart, and she tells you to stop being so gentle. All up my game. She shoves you to the ground. It shows you what it's like to be not kind. It's hotter, but I don't really like this one either. I think it's a little too fucked up even for me. Sorry.
Don't be sorry. I'm right there with you. Like,
Yeah.
Here's something that I noticed with these characters. Well, the only two I can think of right now, because I haven't looked at Gale or Will. I don't think Will has as many stakes as some of these other companions do, but I'm not sure. And then Karlach, I haven't looked at really either. But thinking of Astarion and Shadowheart, who I feel like have the most divergent path choices. Like it's literally just straight up evil or good for their endings. And like the bad quote unquote endings, like Ascended Astarion and Sharon Shadowheart's sex scenes are both kind of intense, like BDSM elements of Astarion. Like they're more spicier, like rougher. They're not love making, but their good scenes are like Astarion's scene is very gentle and sweet, as is Shadowheart's when she's a Selûnite now. And I don't personally like that it's split that way, because to me it's, once again, I don't know if they intended it this way, but you can definitely assume like, oh, that
Kinky
kind of
is
sex
bad.
Yeah, like kinky's bad, like, oh, if you're a good person, you only have like beautiful lovemaking vanilla sex, which maybe skinny dipping is like a little brave, but barely. Barely. So I don't really like that personally, especially because it's the only sex scene you get with them. Well, especially with Shadowheart, but like it's with First Arian, it's the only true one you get. He's not like manipulating you, at the time. But anyway, I just thought that when you were just describing that. Also, once again, even though I romance Astarion, blood is not my thing. So I would not be wanting that happening with Shadowheart. But
No, and I mean, she does claim that it's part of a ritual, that the blood of your kill, because you have to kill a Selûnite, and then you have a feast afterwards. That is a Sharan ritual. It's just that the blood that you spilt was Dame Aelin's, like the highest of high of who you could kill for it to be a sacrifice to Shar. So, from a Sharan standpoint, this is a valid ritual that they do. And in fact, you can walk in on another Sharan night feast, or the displays of it afterwards in the Grimforge in Act 2. So there's precedent for it in game, there's precedent for it in lore. Smear the blood of a Selûnite and then feast in whatever form you can.
yeah, I guess that would make you complicit as a Sharan then. Like if you, as a player, are romancing a Sharan Shadowheart, then you kind of have to become a little Sharan yourself, whatever your feelings are on it. So take that with a grain of salt, like make sure you know what you're getting into if that's the Shadowheart you want to romance. But I think this was in her romance scene for Asharan Shadowheart, if I remember correctly. I know I wrote this, but I should have double checked because my mind's a mess. But there's a line that she says during her romance scene. Like I said, I think it's the one where she's still Sharan. But she says, But too much freedom can be frightening, lonely. There's a reason why so many people are eager to bow. I really liked that line because I think it sums up the challenge each of the companions are facing when they're at that fork in the road in their narrative arcs. The recurring theme of every companion main character in Baldur's Gate 3, including the Emperor and Tav, is the struggle for freedom. Every character has some force that they're trying to break free from. Like in the case of Tav, it's really just the tadpole, but that's not the case with everyone else. But within this struggle for the other companions are the two paths, actually, with all of them. The struggle are the two paths, corruption or resistance. Choosing Shar is corruption. Choosing to defy and therefore becoming a Selûnite is resistance. You, as the player, have a choice in how these companions' character arcs are finished. You can resolve their struggle or ensure that they remain trapped under the influence of someone or something else, something false and wrong. It really is a matter of good versus bad endings in this game. Just because you have the option doesn't mean it's a good option and that you should take it.
I love how we are so going to have a very different opinion on some things in this game. Because I don't see it as good or bad. But I just see it as letting them go down their own path or changing things. But I do not want a tangent. We are not tangenting tonight. Especially for Shadowheart. Cis romance doesn't always last. Like we said earlier, if Shadowheart becomes the Dark Justiciar, there really isn't room in her heart for you. Shar forbids her followers to remain in love. She may defy Shar and stay with you, which should still be further proof that choosing Shar was dumb, because if she's willing to say no to Shar as a Dark Justiciar, come on. Or she may break up with you and happily fuck you if she ever makes it her way back to Baldur's Gate again. Sure. But if she is a Selûnite, she is free to love you. And at the game's epilogue party, she will say this to you if she's still with you.
Whatever lies ahead will be far less daunting if I have you. It could be just like old times. Well, hopefully not exactly like old times. I think I've had enough camping and mortal peril for one lifetime.
Enough camping for one lifetime. All right. What are my final thoughts about Shadowheart? I will say that it was the influence of my friends that completely fucked over my first Baldur's Gate playthrough. I had one person go, Shadowheart is going to be the future love of your life. She's everything you are looking for in a woman. You will romance her. I looked at her and went, damn, yeah, okay, I see this. And then I was told Gale has absolutely changed my outlook on the world, and I think he may be my all-time favorite romance option. Well, shit, okay, maybe I should start looking at Gale. Then I found Will, and me personally was like, okay, yeah, hi, you are one of the most attractive video game characters I have ever met. And then I found Astarion, and his personality won me. But I had played the field too much, made too many decisions in too many different directions, and got rejected by everybody except for Halsin by Act 2. So, yeah, it's my own damn fault. I tried to play the field. But as for Shadowheart, now having seen both of her paths and gone through all of them, my dark urge went dark Shadowheart because, of course, I'm making everybody evil in that playthrough. I like Selûnite Shar, Saloonite, Shadowheart, the best. And she's a sister. What about you, V?
Yeah, I didn't romance her because I was like locked in on Astarion immediately, being a white-haired elf. It was like Fenris. Oh, okay. But Shadowheart, I didn't like hate her immediately, and I brought her with me pretty much everywhere. I've only played the game through one time. I'm on my second playthrough now, but I brought her pretty much everywhere with me, the first one, and we were like sisters by the end. And I will stand by my feelings on good versus bad ending. My problem with like the quote unquote bad endings or evil choices is you lock yourself out of so much content and narrative when you do those. Mostly because a lot of content giving characters are killed or won't talk to you because they hate you, but also because most evil motivations are so selfish. There's no room for growth, which is what makes a journey. Like you just stop if you're just focused on yourself. Where do you go? What do you do? It's all just for you. And like Shadowheart doesn't do anything as a dark justiciar. She's just living for Shar at that point, committing atrocities, being of the night. I do wish you could keep her hair black if she was a Selenite, because I personally liked it better. I do not buy as someone who has dyed her hair many times. I don't believe that just overnight she went from freaking level 0 or 1 hair to suddenly like a level 12 white blonde. They say white blonde, but it's straight up white hair. Like, you know how many times you need bleach to do that? Unless they have like magic that they can do, which is dumb. I wish, but also she must have magicked her bangs, because how did they grow that fast overnight to be able to part in the middle all of a sudden?
It's
And
called
she,
prestidigitation.
oh, well, good
It's a
for her.
spell. Yeah, you can
Jealous.
change your appearance at will.
Well, I am jealous of that because I have had to cut my hair off many times. Anyway, yeah. So I just think, even though that a lot of people really enjoy evil playthroughs because maybe it's fun to like go through and like kill everybody, like I don't think you learn anything that much. Maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Like maybe you had an experience with an evil playthrough that you were like, "Wow, I've taken something away from this," which is, like the purpose of storytelling, and art is to be enjoyed, but also it's to experience, and like I don't know. I just think you get more out of the quote unquote good endings because there is just simply more happening. There's more, like, it is more satisfying to see Shadowheart go on this journey of self discovery, see what happened to her as a child, overcome it, and get past it than it is to see her just like fall into the abyss and just accept her fate. Like, I don't think that's satisfying. So I just will always have her become I don't think you necessarily have to switch religions. Like, she's like, maybe because she's a cleric, but she's like, oh, I hate Shar now, so I'm a Selenite now. Like, okay. She's kind of
Yeah.
a grudging one.
Oh no, I fully agree with you that it is, you get more content and more fulfillment out of a good playthrough. But I do still see merits to the evil side because sometimes that's who I want to be. I want to be
Yeah.
dark. I want to be the one on my knees. I want to be the one who is, it's like that's still a button that's hit for me. So,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad the choice is there. I just don't think I get a little frustrated when I see people try to argue that they're both good endings, like, oh, because I liked it, that means it's good. That's not how it works. Like,
mm,
objectively, like that. We'll get into that with Astarion, don't worry. I'm sure we're gonna argue. It'll be our first fight. Um Live
I
on
think it'll be
camera.
officially like our third fight. We fought
Oh,
over
maybe.
somebody else before too.
I don't even remember. All is
I don't
forgiven.
either.
But yeah, I like Shadowheart ultimately. I don't personally see anything wrong with her being bitchy. I actually think that's a good thing to be for Shadowheart. I think it's really refreshing to see a very conventionally attractive, like humanoid woman who is not your typical personality type that goes along with that stereotypical physique and appearance. She's very standoffish, and I appreciate it. She's a mood.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, that, lovely listeners, is where we would normally end our show. But for tonight, we have the chill to my energy, the best alchemy partner, and someone that longtime listeners should recognize. My co-host of the Cyberpunk Lorecast, special guest, and somebody that I'm not going to go unhinged on. Please welcome Toasty to the show. Toasty, Toasty. Do I need to resend you the link? No, you should be fine. Yay. Whoops, I hit. Did you hit admit? Yes, okay, good. There we go.
Sorry, I have
Welcome. I thought I hit the wrong button, so that's why I was.
I was trying to time it, but there's Twitch delay. It's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what's
What?
that looping audio I can hear? Like when Toasty talks, it's like an echo.
I might be being picked up in Jin's mic. Jin's mic always picks up my voice. It must be
Oh,
the
it sounds
frequency.
fine. It sounds fine now.
Okay,
We good?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. It always takes a second. Toasty's voice overpowers my microphone.
Also, it overpowers the Google Meets. It's already silenced me.
And occasionally he's loud enough. This is why we don't stream anymore, is because he's loud enough for my mic to pick it up and then for it to loop back through the Google Meets to loop back through the stream. So sometimes you could hear like 5 Toasties talking at once.
Oh, God, I can't even stand one Toasty talking at once.
You're just that damn powerful.
Anyways, hello.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode. No, tonight is not Cyberpunk, and it is Shadowheart. Now, I actually haven't asked you this question. How did you get into Baldur's Gate?
Well, I'm gonna put a lot of the blame on the boy X Factor, who has been talking about Baldur's Gate 3 for the entirety of the time that I've known him. He was always bringing it up how excited he was for it, and then so it was on my radar, and then when like the early access stuff was really like popping off, I was just like, yeah, I'll spend the money. Let's go ahead and just spend some money. Let's get this game. Plus, I play a ton of D&D anyways, so
It's definitely a game that I figured that you would be into. I just didn't know your actual origin story to it. All right. Now, we discussed a lot of things about Shadowheart tonight. Do you think you learned anything new?
I'm trying to think about everything, the specifics. I know I haven't gotten a chance to do epilogue stuff yet, so getting kind of a little bit of a briefing on that. I've done some research on it to like see what it was, but I unfortunately beat the game before the epilogue existed, and I just haven't gone back to do it. So getting hearing that little bit of a clip was interesting. Hearing how like I guess their ideas for the future, it seems. I do know that you can adopt the owl bear too as part of like your relationship. I don't know if that's an everyone thing. I assume so, but No? Oh
No.
wow.
So there's
Okay.
only two options. The owlbear can either become Shadowheart's partner, where they can go and travel together, so that way the bear can help protect this new Saloonite, or he can go live with Halsin, because Owlbear trusts and respects Halsin. Bear man, not as big, but will not bite. It's really cute.
I feel like in my
Okay.
game, I also could have given him to Minsk, but I don't know if that's true. I played the epilogue once, but I remember I had a choice and it wasn't Shadowheart. It was between Halsin and someone else, and I obviously gave him to Halsin because that just
Okay.
seems to make sense. But I swear it was Minsk. I don't know. I'll have to check that. I don't know.
I wonder how Boo would feel about Owlbear. Right. Now, I guess one of the big questions, are there any key factors that we missed? Things that would have brought more depth to this romance?
Um. Well, I'm sure you could get into like the big like lore aspects of like Soluna and Shar and how their dichotomy plays off of each other and how what the kinds of goddesses that they are affect how the people raised in their like religions are brought up. But we don't have like 2 hours to like go through all that stuff. Um, but all I say is like if you're ever interested, just like you should definitely like look it up. It's on the Forgotten Realms wiki, and like you can kind of get uh a lot of information about the quote like sisters of the night. So because I don't know, do they
Yeah,
ever make it clear that they're sisters?
I don't know. I think that's just lore that I knew of, so I knew that they were sisters. I don't know if it's actually truly brought up.
I think they do say it in the game because I didn't know that. I've only briefly played 5th edition, and I'm pretty sure they say they're sisters in the game at some point because I knew that and I would have only known it from the game, but I don't know.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Sorry. It's hard to remember stuff when you have so much of this already in your brain.
Yeah. So the fact that the worship definitely brings a big aspect into Shadowheart's life. We could
Yeah,
have.
for sure. Obviously, and we know from like her past, the being born a Saloonite and then coming up as a Sharan because she was kidnapped. There's a whole lot of like, I guess, early life like things that she learned that just kind of muddled in with like all of the very like punishing dark aspects of Sharan worship. So
Now, why? Why did you pick Shadowheart on your first playthrough?
So I'm gonna be entirely honest. I was super toxic, technically speaking, when it came to this. So a little bit of backstory. It kind of explains. Uh, I played in a Curse of Strahd 5e game as a cleric of Selûne. That was my character. So I spent like a year plus um, being a character that was like completely devoted to this goddess who even came and interacted with me on occasion, and we were like kind of best buds and it was great. Um so and then also including a lot of stuff with like Shar did step into that campaign and tried to corrupt me from the path of Selûne that I had to contend with. So yeah, I can't remember what point it was, but it was definitely a point before she actually like straight tells you that she's a cleric of Shar that I was like, are you a Sharan? Where like I picked up on the vibe from her and I was like, there's something about that. And the moment that like I got confirmation on that, I was like, I'm sorry, sweetheart. We have to fix that. We cannot allow this in this house. This is a Saluna loving household. We cannot allow Sharans in my house. I'm so sorry. So yes, I definitely did go from the perspective of I can fix her. But also gotta do a big shout out to who doesn't love a sexy goth chick in armor. So
all of
Her
it, all
ponytail
of
is
it
amazing.
together.
ponytail is absolutely
I
amazing.
I
Yes.
want. I wish my hair was that long and also straight. So 'cause my hair would never be that smooth and sleek. I just also want to say I googled it and I have no idea what kind of fever dream I had. You cannot give the owlbear cub to Minsk. It's only Shadowheart or Halcyon. Sorry.
Huh.
Okay, good to
I was
know.
ready to believe you. Minsk
I
seems like a neat guy.
I don't know where I got that, and I wanted to correct myself because I don't want to speak from a position of authority. I don't know anything. Like
There's too many hours and options in this game to know everything about it. I don't think anybody's gonna get mad
I
about it. Well,
know
there's definitely some people, but
somebody will.
they can shut the fuck up. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think that Minsk, when he talks about everybody in the camp at the epilogue, he mentions the owl bear, and so maybe that's where you got it in your mind.
Maybe he's a good animal companion dad already. So
Okay. So now that you're going through on a couple different playthroughs, you've started multiplayer campaigns, you've started your second run, and I think your third run as a Dark Urge. Are you going to stick with Shadowheart, or are you going to branch out a little bit?
So I'm definitely gonna branch out because I'm extremely interested in the Minthara romance. But I do, and I have at this point, like, I haven't fully finished it, but I'm on the line for like the Dark Shadow Heart. And like, this is just the like to see. Other than that, I don't think I could bring myself to like do it again just because. All right, y'all give y'all spoiler warning like way ahead. No, very particularly, I think it's a very interesting thing. I'm romancing her on my Dark Urge playthrough, and despite everything, despite all of the terrible shit you do as a Dark Urge, and like the influence that you have on her doing all of this stuff, I got to the part where like she has the choice of killing Dame Aelin, and even with that, when I left her to choose on her own, she still threw away the spear, despite all the bad influences, which just tells me that she wants to like choose the. I don't want to basically pick sides here, but like I'm very biased, so the right path.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that that's definitely interesting. The letting the person choose their own path really shows you the option that that character would do. I know that you can choose, like, let Will make his own decisions, and he'll make his own decisions, and it was actually quite different than the decisions I forced upon him in some key things.
same with Karlak at the end with either spoilers dying or going back to Avernus. Like if you let her choose, she wants to go back to Avernus. She doesn't actually want to die.
Mhm.
So it's like I actually really like that feature in Baldur's Gate 3 because it feels less, even when you're like talking to someone with the narrator and stuff, they usually frame it as like you have influence and can encourage them, but you never feel like you're directly choosing for them, even when you're saying I think you should do this. But I still love the option. Like there's so many chances for you to ask them, like, well, you do what you want to do, I'm here, you know and they usually pick the quote unquote good better ending, better for them, and
What do you
ultimately, like, I hate Shar. She can go die in a fire. and I want Shadowheart to not follow Shar, but the fact that she wants to not follow Shar too, if it's left up to her own devices, like that to me is the big thing. Is she would choose it for herself, so it doesn't really matter what I think.
Yeah, I never like picking the decision for her. Like I had to pick it to make her stay as a Sharon worshiper for the Dark Urge run, but otherwise I'm like, no, like you decide. This is ultimately your choice. Just like we've just been talking, and it's like you have so much time to build up and just like kind of subtly influence her and like help her realize that some of these things are pretty fucked up. Like so
Because I had like an 89 to 90% approval rating with her as my Dark Urge, and still she picked throwing away the spear the first time.
Yeah.
So
I have to ask, did y'all talk about the very like I think it's very specific to like if your like Tav is a Selûnite,
no.
like with her? I haven't played it because I haven't done that, but I've seen videos because it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But it's particularly I can't remember what it is, but you give her a gift, and I think it's like some sort of like Sharon thing. And like she doesn't trust you because you're a Selûnite and you've established this. And she's like, why would you give me this? And there's a dialogue option that's just accept the damn gift and kiss me like you hate me. And it's like, and she does. She's like, fine. It just does. And it's like, this is the funniest fucking interaction in this damn game.
The kiss me like you hate me line, I found that one and I was like, oh god, a Shar. I don't want to play a cleric again, but I might, and just for those lines because. Ooh.
Yeah, this Selûne Paladin is an option too.
That might work. That might work indeed. Gosh, a fourth playthrough. Oh no, for me.
What are you gonna do? Oh
Mm.
darn! More Baldur's Gate with a completely different run this time around, even though it's your fourth attempt at it. Crazy,
Right? Oh, geez. And is that really one of the main reasons that you come back each time? Come back to multiple runs? It's because it's different? Or is there something more?
I mean, like, I love come back to the game itself because like I love D&D and yeah, it's the vast replayability. I mean, I think people out there have like sunk like over 300 hours into this game and they still get different results with every single like playthrough that they do. And you have so many options for what you can do with the character. I mean, hell, I mean, you can come back and play as any of the other companions too. Like it's just ridiculous. So, of course, like if it's a game that like has like prided itself on being this super replayable experience, and like they're not charging you more money for it with everything that you do. Like it's just a game that deserves mad respect for how much they gave you for how little you had to give them back.
Very well said. B, you got any random questions before I throw something completely random at Toasty?
Uh-oh.
No, I mean, I knew this would actually. I know me and Toasty usually fight every time he comes on, but we also agree on everything. Like we both love Yennefer, we both love Shadowheart, but specifically Selenite Shadowheart. So I'm just like, I don't know why we fight so much.
Look, I don't think we fought since you've admitted that Triss is the fucking worst person ever. And
That's what it took?
I have mad respect. It's correct. It's the most correct you've ever been.
Wow, thanks. I've peaked already. I should just stop.
I'm gonna have very loud opinions at all times.
Should you come on the Triss episode just to hate on her?
Oh my god, no. Ben would
Oh, right.
kill us all.
It's fine. I'll just save it
Okay.
and
I can't wait,
destroy
though.
him another time.
We did dedicate just an entire episode to the two of you fighting it out because we're going to have a Yennefer episode, a Triss episode, a Shawnee episode, and then a Witcher wrap-up episode, like we do for all of our other ones. And the wrap-up episode is going to be just Battle of Toasty and...
Right.
Yeah.
Ben and Toasty. PvP.
It's not much of a battle, but sure.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh.
Demolition.
Well, yeah, because it'll be 3 against 1. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Even if it was just me, you don't know the stuff I've already been stockpiling. I've been compiling my arguments since November.
Oh my gosh.
He isn't ready for this.
Sorry. I believe that there's somebody else out here now. Yeah. It looks like somebody else is just kind of doing the same thing I'm doing, randomly wandering hallways. Toasty, my random ask freaking question. Do you wish that there was more to both of these scenes?
Oh, okay. I guess it's not that random. I was expecting something completely off the wall. No, because honestly, it's I think part of it, and I know people have their opinions on things like that or whatever, and sure, it'd be nice to have some more titty in it or whatever. But I think it's it's very tasteful, and even especially in the Solunite version or whatever. It is it's sweet and playful, which kind of becomes a lot of her personality afterwards. All the jokes and stuff that she makes once she kind of lets go of that Sharon depression. And I appreciate that. Especially the pan up to the moon, because the moon looks fucking great in this game. It's such a nice moon. I'm a big moon critique. But no, I think I'm happy with them because it's more about her stuff is very heavy, and despite your choices in the game, you're gonna have to do her part. That is another thing, is she is such a focal companion in the main act 2 is basically her thing. And so I think it's the emotional impact of her whole story coming together, and I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. I like that. I think that wraps everything up for tonight then. What do you got going on, Toasty?
I do a lot of stuff. Not as much stuff as Ben, but who is my co-host on the Witcher Lorecast. I also do the Cyberpunk Lorecast with Jen, as well as the Cyberpunk Red live play Cyberpunk apostrophe D. Otherwise, you can catch me on the Discord, basically just talking about random Cyberpunk or Witcher things.
But yeah. And if you like what you are hearing, please be sure to leave a review on iTunes or on Spotify and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can now find me on the Cyberpunk Lorecast with my co-host Toasty, where we explore the foundations of the past, the state of Night City today, and the news of the future for all things cyberpunk. Check out Scyther Audio's newest fan-made production, The Avengers, the audio drama, where you can hear me and several of our podcasting friends. You can also reach out to me in our Two Girls One Ship channel on the Robots Radio Discord and give us a follow on all the social medias and on patreon.com/2girlsonesship. Our theme music was comprised by the ever-talented Pipeman Studios, and our artwork was designed by the esteemed Let's Not. Links are in the description.
I am also on the Robots Radio Discord and in our own Two Girls One Ship Discord server where we nerd out on all our favorite CGI significant others. Be sure to check out our live streams on Twitch on Fridays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Our podcast episodes release on Mondays because you need at least one good thing on a Monday.
So thanks for listening, and remember,
Beauty's in the eye of the controller.
and while you're out there...
What?
Sorry. What?
She pulled my tagline.
Oh.
I did. I was like, and while you're out there... Toasty's line after that is stay safe in Night City.
I have like two of them.
Stay safe in Baldur's Gate.
It's impossible.
That is impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ball spawn running around the sewers. Freaking Sharans up on top of the ground. Vampires.
Oh, hey, not bad at all. Right at 1:30. Yay.
Yay.
Damn it, I forgot to say one thing though. Damn, whatever.
What's up?
I forgot to talk about how Selûne is the goddess of lesbians, and so if you pick a Sharan Shadowheart, you're committing her to a life of homophobia. She literally has to kill a lesbian in order to become a Sharan or a Dark Justiciar. It's fucked. I only say that because my character in the Strahd campaign was a lesbian, and then Isabel and Dame Aelin, and then my female Tav and Shadowheart. And I'm just like, damn, Selûne just like accumulating all these lesbian women.
It's funny because Shadowheart reads so lesbian to me, and also her voice actress is a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, the moon is lesbian coded, so
yeah.
Jin just made a face like I'm not supposed to know that information.
No. I just love it how sometimes you guys are so fully aligned on like everything, and then one thing will like spark between the two of you, like the fact that Toasty would sleep with Cazador.
What?
Yeah, we did that. Did you forget about it?
Yeah, I probably burned it from my memory because I didn't want to hate you.
Well, it's fine. You can. This is whatever. I'd rather fuck Cazador than Gale. That's for damn sure.
Oh, well, that's just mean and untrue.
That's factual. Gale's a pervert, and he does not get any forgiveness in my book.
Yeah, but like to choose between Cazador and Gale, I would just not. I'd be like, I'm out. I'm celibate. Bye, everybody.
I mean, preferably neither, but if I was given a life or death choice.
It was spin the wheel. It was a spin the wheel night, and he got Cazador, so he had to.
Well, I had to marry Cazador, so I can't talk.
That's true. I'm so blurry.
You are.
Even Google Meets is pissed that you'd fuck Cazador.
Probably. It's actually, there's normally a point. There it is. That's where. Okay. I was trying to find the distance point.
Try to find a sweet spot. But normally I would love to hang out further with you guys, but in the not weirdest way possible, my wrist really frickin' hurts after all of this. If you streamers can't notice, I don't have my mic stand with me up at the hospital, so I've been holding my mic, and this is a fucking Blue Yeti, so this thing is girthy, okay? And I've been holding it the whole damn night.
A veritable Pepsi can.
It's bigger than a Pepsi can. A Pepsi can, at least I can crush a little bit to fit better. This thing I can't.
He looks like he froze. I know he didn't actually.
I heard that. I'm just saying, I heard it. That's...
Okay.
Endurance training, Yuri. Bad.
Honestly, let's give your arm a break.
And If my wrist had been moving the whole time, I would have been fine, but holding it still this whole time is what the real problem is.
Yeah, no one needs to practice edging for an hour and a half, so we can just go.
And good night, stream.